sometimes I look in the mirror and ask myself, is that the same person that I want to be? And I ask myself the same question over and over again regarding the experience that I made last years following the stock market that I actually take part in for earning money. I actually used to work in a lot of sujets, and so you could call it precarian work, and I stopped doing that because I'm struggling. I always felt like struggling for my own existence, and still dependent on the administration that really wants to pressure the payment of people, and it's I made it a hard time in organizing with people to really oppose this kind of actions, and some point realizing that I want to be free of this. I want to be free of the dependence of this kind of how is it called? Getting paid for work that I do. And so I went for a more speculative option in earning money, which is playing with stocks and derivatives at the stock market, which is kind of a very individualistic perspective as well. And also I think of being on the wrong side. I felt like being on the wrong side because I'm now on the capital side that I never used to really felt comfortable with. I really wanted to oppose this kind of system. The very difficult part in this is that I really came to the erkenntnis. What is the English word for erkenntnis? I came to understand that this system is going down by the credits that we or the producing or the printing of money getting I really want to start in a different way. Okay. I came to realize that in 2008, before the housing market in the United States came to crash, that all this economic crisis would have been unnecessary, and it should have been avoided by really divide the kind of resources that are available to all people, as long as there are something that can be divided. But of course it didn't happen, because people didn't really get what the capitalistic system is working like. And that's because people are not organized, and they're not used to fight in solidarity for their own good, but really want to adapt, and really everyone wants to actually take some kind of privilege, fight for their own abilities, reduce to a limited scope on the individualistic perspective. And so I realized that if this is the case, then I can play along as well, and I can find a way to really achieve something for my own good by participating in the stock market. And for me, I came to realize that this crash was going to happen. It could not be avoided by system reformance or by reforming the system. You only can avoid it by really destroying the system. And so I actually bet on the right stuff, which is the economic crisis. Which means you can actually buy derivatives that are some kind of options actually that are which are papers that are betting on falling stock prices. And I was rightly assuming that the stock market would fall, and so I bought this kind of papers, and turned out to be quite the right choice. So the point is that I'm getting kind of rich by rightly assuming the fall of the system, which means everyone is not everyone, but the most of the people are actually suffering by this system crash. But I myself, by participating in the market, really feel I'm earning money by that. And that's some kind of schizophrenic, you know, seeing things happening and not really, but I cannot do anything to stop it. Just participating in the way that I actually have more possibilities for myself. So I'm now in a position to actually give money to some people who are actually fallen down, actually, or they're fallen out of the system. They're not cared for anymore because the social wealth or the welfare system is not going to last, because it's dependent on the economy. And if the economy doesn't last, the welfare system won't last. So somehow, because I still have the idea of myself as a social person, would like to take care of those close to me. Yeah. Which is a paradox, actually, because I want to have people more not dependent on me, but be on the same level. But it's not possible. I know I do have privileges, and I can only use this privilege to give some people the opportunity to live. So I cannot give my privileges away. I can only use them. structurally. Yeah. So I'm still in a kind of a higher position. And this kind of dependency I don't want. I want strong people having their own voice and demanding their wishes as legitimate perspectives. But in participating in the market, I'm actually, so I have the feeling that, or I have the idea, or I think as a result they are actually in a position where they have not a voice, as long as they are not organized in actually taking all the money that is on the capitalistic side and divide them with all. So I don't have any problem with actually losing money or losing everything that is some kind of that falls, or that is defined by the term of own, as long as it concerns everyone. Yeah. So I don't want to work for some kind for an anonymous corporation. I actually want. I actually, if it is like that there are anonymous corporations that have a lot of more power and dominate the market and make people work for little money, then I am actually more on the side of owning this corporation than serving it. Yeah. So that's yeah, that's what you could call diversion of personal interests. I want a different society, but I don't just see the point right now in achieving it by just using, yeah, or by just, yeah, by just choosing a normal or normal way of life and studying, making career, having a job. It's actually it seems to me like the same kind of shitty deal, you know. So why not choose this one? It's not. I think it's very easy to morally disrupt this kind of choice. But this is not about moral. This is about politics. Yeah, and my political choice is also influenced, of course, by moral issues. That's for sure. So, my moral issue is to take actually care of people who are less privileged than I am, share things that I have the ability to act with, or to do something with, and And it's, for instance, yeah, paying money, giving money away. That is, for instance, there's a friend of mine who's fighting for 14 years now for his present stay in Germany, in Berlin. And what I can see, what I can do is, from my perspective, is giving him the chance of life by giving money to him, and of course giving him the impression on because he's important to me as a friend, and I want him to stay, not only because he's politically he's a political refugee, but he's a right to stay, and I'm not the one who who's in a position to judge or to say this is a good reason to stay, or this is a bad reason to stay. Every reason he chooses to be he chooses as a reason to stay is legitimate. So my hope is maybe that there are a lot of people who are actually take care of this kind of position and really fight for changing the political situation for refugees, or for people who are discriminated by their color, by their ethical by their ethics, or for any kind of subject that you can say, and change the political system in this country, and so they have the same right for papers as anyone who lives here, because he's living here. And then I had this idea of just manipulate, or just earning a lot of money so I can pay his lawyer, pay his his rent or whatever, for the money he needs to get food for everything. But and then I really suffered a lot by in having this idea, because I lost a lot of money in the stock market as well. Really a lot. Yeah. But it's actually, it's just a job. And the job is understand the long-term markets movement. And I'm pretty sure that I really understand the long-term market movement, which is inflation of paper money, to actually pay the mortgages, the credit, because everyone is living on credit right now. And the only thing to cope with this kind of not availability of money is printing money, giving money to people, which only makes the problem worse, of course, because by inflating paper money, the prices will go up, and the only thing that will be stable is we stabilize this hard stuff, like for instance metals. That's why everyone is talking about going in gold right now. Yeah. And I used this way. I chose this way 5 years ago, and it turned out to be just fine. Getting paid by the crisis of capitalism. Okay, no, that's actually simplistic, but earning money with the process where most of the people that I feel comfortable with losing money is really, it's really, sad. So what we need to do, I think, is really to overthrow this kind of labor welfare and exchange system. The paper money system, actually, that's not going to last anyway. But there have been crises like this a long time before this, and they actually are. They're coming. They're coming always. It's kind of a repeating itself system, you know. It's like a perpetuum mobile, sort of. Not really, but. And people tend to forget things that happened in the 30s, and the 20s, and the 80s. They don't really understand, I think, why in some point of the world there have been economic crisis by deflation, and the other next crisis is happening by inflation. But it's interconnected. Yeah. So let's just reclaim the street once more and really learn from each other, learn to listen to each other, learn to listen to the problems of each of us. Taking part, sharing, helping, supporting, and fighting, creating new kinds of new ways to cope with economics. Maybe develop new ways of life. I think that's the most important task that's upon us, because we need to change the world as it is, because it's not going to last. We are destroying this planet. We are destroying ourselves. I mean, mankind is, not we, of course, as the concrete people, because there's always influenced action, and the partial interest of some people is actually I'm not that far away from that, is getting more and more and more, and really press yeah, getting the last drop of resource out of everything. But that's not now the question I'm asking is, or I wonder about is that a moral issue, or is it just the system, or is it is it ourselves reproducing the system that we don't want? Still wanting it because there's no other way? But there is. The other way to really change something needs to be developed by organizing. If you're not organized, you cannot achieve anything. And people who are suffering by the system are actually more than those who are profiting of the system. Maybe that's what I have to say.